All right. Welcome, everybody, to Pause with Phil. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties. I don't know what was going on there. I was pushing some buttons and just couldn't get it to work right. So I apologize for that. But I hope everybody is having a good Wellness Wednesday. I am Philip Boyce, a peer support specialist at the R3 Recovery Center. And this is Pause with Phil, something we do every Wednesday where we really take the time to pause and learn about wellness, practice self-care. That's what we want to do today. So I invite you now, as you tuning in, to really just relax and to be still and to pause, turn off any distractions that you might have, and just use this time for yourself here. It seems like we're always, especially for me, on the run and doing things for others and just doing a bunch of tasks and a bunch of chores. Often we just don't have that time just to reflect and just to be present. And that's what we do here with practicing the pause is we learn how to be present. We learn how to be still. We learn how to pause. And it is something that is a practice and something that I found that I have to intentionally do. The phone can be ringing or, I feel like I've got to answer emails or do some tasks, and all those things can wait. We're not good to anybody else if we're not good to ourselves. And so really we have to learn how to do that. We have to learn how to love ourselves. We have to learn how to slow down. We have to learn how to be patient with ourselves and to be present. And that's something called mindfulness. Mindfulness is something we learn here. Mindfulness means being present. It means being fully present right here and right now. It means slowing down. It means breathing. It means taking the time for yourself here to be present, to just be. So I invite you right now to be present, to just be. Be a human being. Human being. Learn how to slow down. Learn how to breathe. And you might say, well, I breathe all the time. Mindfulness teaches us to be aware of our breath. It's being fully present. It's this awareness. It's being aware of where we are and what we're doing. Right now, we are here together practicing the pause. We can shut things down. We can turn things off and just be present. Just be still. Just be. That's important for us to learn and to do, to implement in our life, to be intentional with this practice of just being fully human, being aware of where we are and what we're doing, being fully present, not being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. We can practice this mindfulness right here, right now, just by sitting down and engaging in another exercise that I like to do, which is meditation. I practice this breathing exercise. I've learned that when I can do that, it helps me to slow down. It helps me to reflect and use introspection to see where I'm at throughout my week. What I have going on, to release any stress that I might need to release, some tension that I might be holding on to. We can do this right here, right now, just by being mindful of where we are, mindful of this practice of what we're going to be engaging in, a breathing meditation. We can practice mindfulness by being intentional and aware of the things that we do each day. If you've tuned in before in the past, you know that I like to practice mindfulness even before I begin teaching this. And I do that by fixing a good pot of tea. Is anybody tea fans out there? I've talked about it a lot ever since I've started this. I've talked about the teas that I drink. Today, I've got a tea that helps with the immune system. We got so much stuff going around these days that it doesn't hurt for us to boost our immune system. Some I've got in this pot of tea. I've got something called elderberry. Elderberry is known to boost the immune system. I've got that in this tea. I've also got something with lavender that helps with stress. So I mix a few of these teas together and come up with some concoction here. And with mindfulness, I'm mindful of even when I pour my tea. I'm mindful of being aware of what I'm doing. I'm mindful of the pour there into the glass. And then before I start, I like to take the tea and I breathe in the aroma and I just calm down. I try to calm down. That's something that I've noticed in my life that, it feels like I was carrying a lot of stress, and I can still carry a lot of stress where I just feel wound up. It's like a tight rubber band and always going and going and going. And, I used to think of myself as a perfectionist, always having to get things right just so. And so since I've been doing some of these practices, it's helped me to let go of some of that stuff, stress. It's helped me to let go and unwind. Maybe some of you all can relate there that you carry a lot of stress around. I think that's common for folks with, who's had substance use disorder, mental health challenges, some of those challenges that we face in life. A lot of the trauma that's in our life has led to living life on a certain way. So some of these things we have to work through, we have to deal with, and mindfulness and meditation has helped me, and that's something that I like to pass along. And I've been learning about this wellness, what it is and what it means. I've been trying to teach that as I go along with this class here, and something that I do each Wednesday. It's good to know, it's good to learn. We can do that together. So I invite you to tune in each Wednesdays here from 2 to 3 and practice these things. See if it helps in your life. It helps with some of that stress and maybe some of the stuff that you're carrying around, maybe some of the thoughts that you have. And mindfulness and meditation can help with our thoughts. This is something that I've been doing since early recovery. When I first began to seek recovery and get on this recovery journey, something that I found that really helped me, especially with some of the thoughts that I was thinking and I had, and some of the things I needed to deal with, some of the trauma and stress and things I had going on in my life and still carry. There's a book called Body Keeps the Score, which talks about some of the trauma that we carry around, that it's manifest in our body. So mindfulness and meditation, I think, can help with that. And that's what I try to do here each Wednesday. It's a good reminder for me. And, when we're set to do something, if we're volunteer to serve or to do something, we're obligated and we're accountable. I think that's good for us to have, is that accountability. And like I said, with mindfulness and meditation, you really have to be intentional. Hey, I've got to do this. I've got to schedule a time for me to set aside to purposely practice the pause. Maybe that's what I should have named the class there. Purposefully practice the pause with Phil. You have to be purposeful. You have to be mindful of what we're doing. That's what mindfulness helps us to do. It helps us to see what we're doing. It helps us to be aware. It's being mindful of even small tasks like pouring the tea. I pour the tea. I'm aware of pouring the tea, and then the aroma. I'm aware of the aroma. I'm mindful. I'm present with what I'm doing. My mind's not wandering. It's not elsewhere. It's not thinking about this or that. And it's really bringing that attention to what we're doing. And nearly every task we do in a day, that we perform in a day, we can do mindfully. Whether it's brushing your teeth or eating lunch or talking with friends or chores around the house or exercising. All this can be done more mindfully, more mindfully. And when we're mindful of our actions, we pay more attention to what we're doing. It's the opposite of just going through the motions. Sometimes we just do that, don't we? We wake up and, man, that wheel just gets on going. We just get in that motion. We know what we have to do, and we just go through it. Not even really thinking what we're doing. We just go through it. We're just going through the motions. When we're mindful, we can tune into our senses. We can notice our thoughts and emotions. By building mindfulness into your daily life, you can practice mindfulness even when you're too busy to meditate. Just like that pouring of the tea. Maybe it's that morning bowl of cereal, or that cup of coffee, whatever you do, even those simple tasks, you can do more mindfully. And so here today, I want us to do this mindfulness meditation together. We do it just for a few minutes here, and maybe if you've been doing this for some time now, you feel like you can do meditation longer than when you first started. When you're beginning, just a short time, 5 to 10 minutes is good. But as you continue to meditate, you can meditate for longer periods of time. Some folks like to use timers or apps on their phone. You can look up some of those things. We can research. That's what I do. I research different apps, different things to use, different meditations. I've always enjoyed group meditation. For some reason, me being with the group, I feel like I could meditate better. I don't know if it's maybe the energy of the room with other people meditating. I don't know what it is about group meditation. I love it. I absolutely love group meditation. When I first started, maybe that's the reason why I started with a group meditation. We'd go into a room and it'd be dark, and have a candle lit, and it was just so good. It was so powerful. 20, 25 individuals in there all meditating. And I know some people struggled there at the beginning when first starting meditation. I had some conversations with some folks, and they said, "Man, I can't be still." That's common. So if you feel like you're having difficulties meditating, being still, it's common. If you feel like you can't be still, I saw a lot of people. I talked to some people, and they say, "Man, they just felt really agitated. Just constantly moving their foot, moving their leg, all sorts of movement. It felt like they couldn't shut down. They felt like they couldn't pause and be still." And so if you're having some of those difficulties, don't think that you're, out and, by yourself on that. Other people experience that too. I was fortunate where when I started meditation, I felt like, fish in water. I just it felt natural for me. For a lot of folks, it could be unnatural. Some folks, have difficulty just being alone and being silent, without something going on or without some movement. And so this is a practice. It's a practice that we do here, this mindfulness. And so as you continue to practice it, you'll continue to progress, and you'll be able to do it for longer periods of time. But it is practice. And once you discover this meditation practice, if this is something that you find is truly helpful, something that you'll want to do, you'll want to go back to and continue to do on a regular basis. And many people do a session in the morning and in the evening, or either one or the other. So if you feel like your life is busy and you have little time, doing some is better than none. If you can just find just a little bit of time and at least try it, start it. Doing some is better than none. And then when you get a little bit more space and time, you can do a little bit more. So it's good to find a good spot to do it. Continue to emphasize the need for space, the need to create a space, to create a wellness environment. That's what I do, each time with the tea. I've talked about that. And also light a candle, some of that aroma. I believe in aromatherapy. And like I've said before in the past, I need all the help that I can get. And so creating that environment will help me to be in that frame of mind and to be able to practice these things a little bit better, versus being distracted. You hear noise and, all the stuff around you. That's not good to have, when you're trying to quiet yourself, when you're trying to get to that place, a place of serenity and place of peace and meditation. So it's good to create that environment, to create that space. And that can be a good spot there in your home. Maybe you've cleaned up some clutter. Maybe you've got an empty room that's not really used, and that's a good spot for you. Wherever that you can go, ideally where there's not too much clutter and you can find some quiet. That's what we want. That's what we want. We want to be able to find a place that's not too crowded, doesn't have a lot of clutter, where we can just go in and we can be quiet. And it's also suggested that you leave the lights on. I've said that before too in the past. That's just so you're not dozing off. That's something I struggled with early on. This meditation is I'd be so relaxed. I felt like I could just doze off and go to sleep, and that's not really what you want either. So keeping the lights on is good to do, and also with your posture, make sure that you're not laying down. Some folks say, well, I can do meditation anywhere and all that. I think it's good to have good posture where you're sitting up, you sit up straight, have that good posture there, where you're not dozing off. Make sure you're sitting up straight, get situation, get comfortable. But just be aware of how you're feeling. And natural light's good too. So, if it's not too hot, if the weather's nice, you can even meditate outside. Outside's good. Just choose a place with a little distraction. Then again, notice your posture, notice how you're sitting. You want to be comfortable. You don't want to be too tense. Just be comfortable, sit up straight. If you've got some injuries or physical difficulties, you can modify this practice to suit your situation. And so really how we begin mindfulness meditation is we are aware of our posture, we're aware of our environment, we're aware of how we're seated, whether it be in a chair or a meditation cushion or park bench. We're aware of where we're at. We're aware of how we're sitting. We're aware of our posture. We want to find a spot that gives us a stable, solid seat, not perching or hanging back. And so we begin noticing our bodies. We notice what our legs doing. If we're on a cushion on the floor, we can cross our legs comfortably. You see a lot of times those meditation poses, right? If you're into yoga, maybe a yoga posture of some kind, you might feel comfortable with, you can do that. If you're on a chair, sitting in a chair, it's good that both of your feet are touching the floor. And I've heard that's for grounding purposes, to be grounded. Some people will take their shoes off. It helps them feel better grounded there to the floor. Whatever's comfortable for you. Like I said, with your posture, you want to be aware of your posture. You want to be straightened, but don't stiffen your upper body. The spine has this natural curvature. So let it be there. Your head and shoulders can comfortably rest on top of your vertebrae. We also want to know what our arms are doing. How do your arms feel? Do you feel any tension there in your arms? A lot of times I'll suggest, rolling the shoulders, slowly back and forth. This helps us to relax, helps us to get some of that tension out or some of that stress that we might be carrying. Just notice what your arms are doing there. They're parallel to your upper body. And it's good to notice what our hands are doing too. Look at your hands. Notice what your hands are doing. You might want to drop those hands on your legs there, and with your upper arms at your sides, your hands will land in the right spot. If they're too far forward, it might make you hunch. If they're too far back, you might stiffen. So just be in tune with your body, tune with the strings of your body, not too tight and not too loose. You can drop your chin down and let your gaze fall gently downward. You may let your eyelids lower. That's okay. If you feel the need, you may lower them completely. You might completely shut your eyes, but it's not necessary to close your eyes, even when meditating. You can simply just let what appears before your eyes be there without focusing on it. I do find it helpful to close my eyes when I'm in group meditation. That's something I did. It kind of helped me to turn off the world around me, and so I wasn't focusing in on anything. So that's completely up to you. If you want to just lower your eyelids or completely shut them, that's completely up to you. And just be there for a moment. Let's just do that. Let's just be here for the moment. Let's be present. Just relax. I invite you to bring your attention to your breath and the sensations in your body. Just breathe. Slow down. Relax. Bring your attention to your breath. Some even say, follow your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Follow your breath as it goes in, as it goes out. Just breathe. Just breathe. Draw your attention to the physical sensation of breathing. You're aware of your breath. You're aware of the air moving through your nose or mouth. You're aware of the rising and falling of your belly or chest. Choose your focal point. And with each breath, you can mentally note breathing in, breathing out. Right here, right now, I'm breathing in, breathing out. I want to take a deeper in-breath there. It's a nice, slow, steady in-breath through your nose. I realized I didn't have my microphone down. Might be a little bit easier to hear me now. Breathe in through your nose. Then breathe out. So you might want to take a longer in-breath and then a longer out-breath. You just release some of that stress you might be carrying. Release some of those concerns or worries with the out-breath. As you breathe in, just breathe in self-care and kindness. You're doing the best for yourself right here and right now. And then with the out-breath, just release that stress, release that tension or worry or concern you might have been holding on to. Just let it go. As we continue to breathe, it can be difficult to kind of stay there with the breath. Our minds like to wander. That's completely natural too. Don't worry if your mind is wandering. Just come back to your breath. Some people believe that meditation is to stop thinking, and that's just not it at all. It's not about blocking thinking or eliminating thinking. Our minds have the tendency to wander. And so when you catch yourself, whether it be a few seconds or a minute or 5 minutes, just gently return your attention to your breath. That's what we want to be mindful of. We're mindful of our breathing, of the in-breath and the out-breath. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Maybe feel the need to move or scratch the itch. And I just ask you, if you will, to pause before doing so. If there's an itch to be scratched or a movement that needs to be made, just pause before you do that. Exercise the ability to practice the intention, being that you choose and decide when you're going to scratch or choose to move. Just allow that space before doing so. Allow that space between what you experience and what you choose to do. You may find your mind wandering constantly. That's normal too. So instead of wrestling with or engaging with those thoughts as much, practice observing without needing to react. Just sit and pay attention. As hard as it is to maintain, that's all there is. Just come back over and over again without judgment or expectation. There are some tips on mindfulness and mindfulness meditation, and I hope that you all are being intentional and choosing to do that with your own time there, that you're making time to do that, that you're seeing the benefits from it too. You can feel it. You feel it in your health. You feel it in your mind. You feel the benefits from just practicing the pause. And hopefully it's something that you enjoy, that you continue to go back to. And so when you're ready, you can gently lift your gaze. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. And just take a moment here. Notice any sounds in the environment. Tune in and notice how your body feels right now. Do you feel more relaxed? Notice your thoughts and emotions. Then again, pausing right here for a moment. Decide how you'd like to continue on with your day. And that's it. That's the mindfulness meditation practice. It's often been said that it's very simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Kind of like what we were talking about with the difficulties that wanting to move, or how difficult it is just to be still and to pause just for a few moments, a few minutes. It's not a whole lot out of our day, but I think that the rewards that we get from practicing this mindfulness meditation is invaluable. And so that's all it is. It's a practice. It's said to be very simple, but it's not necessarily easy. The work is just to keep doing it, keep practicing it, and the results will accrue. All right. Well, I'd like to kind of see where we left off at today, with what we left off with last week with regards to wellness. We've been learning more and more about wellness, what it means, and how it looks in our own life. And we talked about a few things last time I kind of want to pick back up on, and that's what our needs are. As humans, we have these needs that need to be met. What's some of the needs that you experience today? Probably hunger, right? I'm sure you ate sometime today. I hope that you ate sometime today. Maybe it was a nap. Maybe you got a nap in. You had the need to rest. What are some other needs that you experienced today? Are we really aware of our needs? I said last time that our unmet needs can fuel unhealthy behaviors and lifestyle. Let's look at again what some of our needs are. Some of our needs. Last time we talked about we have a need to be seen and to be heard, a need to belong and to feel this self-worth. That's a need for recognition from others. This is an important need that we have. We also have a need for a stimulating environment where we feel challenged and able to grow and find what we're interested in. We also have a need for caring and affection from friends, to feel this, to be cared for and to feel loved. We also have a need for a sense of purpose, and so we have direction and goals in our life. We also have a need for self-acceptance. Accept yourself as you are. And so when these needs aren't met, they can fuel unhealthy behaviors and lifestyle. And so really, if you look, if you were to draw a pyramid, at the bottom of that pyramid, you would see your needs. You would see your needs. These are what drives human behavior, our needs. And so if we're more aware of our needs, we can be going in the right direction. We can be pursuing a high level wellness. If we're not aware of our needs, then we neglect ourselves and we'll begin seeing the signs and the symptoms and disability, which eventually lead to a premature death. Premature death. Just like a body needs food and sleep, if we're not getting those things, we're doing more harm. And so we need to be aware of what our needs are and be able to meet those needs. And so a lot of times we can look at the signs, the surface signs. You see that there in the first block there towards the left as it's moving towards premature death. You see these signs. What are some of the signs and symptoms? We talked about that last time too. Our signs and symptoms could be even emotional states, how we're feeling, how we feel, whether it be boredom or depression or anxiety. These emotional states can often set the stage for physical disease. It does that by lowering the body's resistance. And those same feelings can also lead to abuses like smoking or excessive alcohol or drug use and overeating. But these symptoms and behaviors represent only the tip of the iceberg. They are surface indicators underlying human needs. Those human needs are what we just pointed out: recognition from others, stimulating environment, caring and affection from friends, sense of purpose, and self-acceptance. So those are the underlying human needs. And like I said last time, unmet needs are fueling unhealthy behavior and lifestyles. And so we see that diseases and symptoms are not really the problem.
They're actually the body, mind, spirit attempt to solve a problem. They're the signs and the symptoms. They're a message from the subconscious to the conscious. And so we look at much of the contemporary medical practice today, and it involves chipping away at the surface needs, uh, like the diseases and those type things. It's oriented towards treating and eliminating the evidence of disease. And it's important. That's important to do, to eliminate the evidence of disease, but it doesn't go far enough. It's essential, and that's what wellness looks at. It's essential for us to look below the surface signs to address the real needs. And I think that's what we do there at the recovery center, is we begin looking at the true needs. And so you might say, look at some of these true needs and say, how can we meet some of these true needs? Recognition from others, for example, that can be seen in support, right? We have peer support specialists there at the R3 Recovery Center, and that's a huge need that I see. A lot of folks want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want to be seen and heard. They want the sense of belonging and find out their self-worth. Right? A lot of folks just need somebody to talk to, especially those that are on this recovery journey. I've found that so many have this trauma and stress that they've carried throughout their whole life. And so a lot of times that needs to be met, that recognition from others, to be seen and heard, to belong and discover that self-worth. We do that there at the Recovery Center by offering peer support. We're there with you through that journey. That's one of the ways that R3 Recovery Center addresses and helps address some of these needs. Another need that we brought up was a stimulating environment, to be challenged and to grow and to discover what your interests are. It's good to sit down and talk with somebody and kind of see what goals. Are you setting any goals in your life? Do you have a direction that you're moving towards? See, look at this illness wellness continuum. Those both are directions. One points to the left and the other to the right. Those are directions that a person is going to in life. So it's good to talk it out and kind of see, what are my goals? What direction am I heading on? And it's so cool too, at wellness, at any point we can change what direction we're going on. It's important to have those goals and see, what direction are we headed. Another need that we discovered was caring and affection from friends. Caring and affection from friends, that you feel cared for. It's that support. Do you have a good support system? That's something that we look at too there at the Recovery Center. We say, well, what's your support look like? What's your recovery capital? Do you have folks that care about you? Do you feel that caring and affection from friends? That's a need there. Another need that needs to be addressed is a sense of purpose. Sense of purpose, that can be direction and goals like we talked about. And also employment is big with doing that. A sense of purpose and meaning. We call it gainfully employed. We have Project HOW, HOW, healing our workforce, there at the Recovery Center. And that's what we look at with that. We want our peers to be gainfully employed. That's not just enough to be employed, but to find meaning and purpose in what you're doing. At least if you can't do that there at the job, maybe be working towards that. We have certifications and all these things. It's really up to the individual. Where do you get that sense of purpose and meaning? It's good to have. That's a need. That's an underlying need that needs to be met. And then, of course, self-acceptance is the last need that we looked at. Self-acceptance. Do you accept yourself as you are, where you're at, right here and now. It's important to know those needs and see if those needs are being met, because unmet needs fuel unhealthy behaviors and lifestyle. This is what I've learned as I've researched wellness. And so it's essential to look below the surface signs and address the real needs. So wellness extends the definition of health to encompass a process of integration characterized by awareness, education, and growth. This is a journey that we're on, this wellness journey. Notice we can go in two directions there. Two directions. It's really about the quality of life. That's what wellness is. It's the quality of life. Wellness is a journey. And it says that health is not the mere absence of illness, but it's a continual striving to live a life that is full, meaningful, zestful, and exuberant. And you can see that here on this illness wellness continuum. It's this high level wellness. It's becoming your best self. And wellness shows that it's up to the individual. Self-responsibility, that we have a role to play regarding our own health. Regarding our own health. This high level wellness, you see that towards the right? That means giving care to the physical self. It means using the mind constructively. It means channeling stress energies positively. It means expressing your emotions effectively. It means becoming creatively involved with others and staying in touch with the environment. And so there's 6 principles there. If we were to label those, one is self-care. Second one is mindfulness. The third is stress management. The fourth is emotional expression. The fifth is community connection. And the sixth is environmental awareness. And so we see the eventual goal of wellness. The eventual goal of wellness is the actualization of one's true psychophysical, spiritual potential. And the end point is not really an end, it's not perfection, it's a continual cycle towards this higher level of wellness. And so I hope that you've learned a little bit more about wellness today. Hopefully it's becoming a little more clear to you. I know we've keep going over some of this information, and sometimes that's what I have to do too. I just have to keep on looking at it. And as we look into these things, maybe something becomes a little more clear for us. We begin to understand ourselves a little bit more, and kind of see what our needs are and where we're at. And so this is just a little bit about wellness. I hope that you enjoyed some of the content. Feel free to write in the comment section if you're beginning to practice some of these things in your own life. If you're learning something new, share that with us. I'd love to hear how this is helping you. So I hope that you have a good rest of your day, rest of this Wellness Wednesday, and hope that you tune in again next week. And make sure that you come and check out the services there at R3 Recovery Center. Be glad to help you in any way that we can. All right, have a good rest of your day. Bye.